Hello, I'm ABX Toycat, and welcome back to another podcast. This is episode 5 of The Toycat Show, an audio-only show I run on the second channel where I talk about video game news, technology news, business news, and YouTube news that is particularly interesting to me. That's why it's not really on a solid schedule. This is like 6 days after the previous one, because there are a few things I wanted to talk about, and I guess we'll start by following on from previous week, because I don't want to make YouTube Red its whole own topic again, because I spoke about it like twice, and I think there's not too much more to say, but I do need to update, because after I made that video, YouTube did have a big update. They made a big public announcement saying, we will pay creators during the free trial. And I think it was cleverly worded, but we'll come back to that in a second. And I just wanted to address, this is not just for me that I care about. Like, for me, it really doesn't matter if I make, like I said, it's like going to be like 3 or 4% less in the worst case scenario. That doesn't actually matter too much to me. It's not going to affect the video making ability. Like I said, I have low expenses deliberately so that I'm not affected by this stuff. But some YouTubers do live, month to month. And you can say, oh, they shouldn't be doing that on an unstable career like YouTube. But it's like, these people follow their dream, and you're going to tell them, no, bad idea for following a dream. What do you think you're doing? You should have expected YouTube Red to just not pay. So yeah, that's the first thing I want to address. And second of all, we actually have YouTube Red data now, and we have the fact that YouTube still haven't properly said whether they're actually paying people for the trial or not, because they said in their announcement, don't worry, people, we'll pay you during the free trial. Because some people have Google Play, music subscriptions, they'll be paying for YouTube Red. And the way that they really, really cleverly announced it, because it's like, they're saying at the same time, they're going to give a free trial, but they also said, oh, some people will already be, paying for it because of Google Play Music. And that basically, to me, sounded like they were saying, they wanted to say they were paying people, but they didn't want to pay people. It's hard to say what it is, but I also have some data on this. So this isn't the full data, and it's 4 days worth of just earnings, so I don't know how many people are viewing to make this, and I cannot give you access to the full earnings because there's a common misconception that, YouTubers all sign this contract that they can't give away their earnings. But I believe my network signed a contract with AdSense, and although I'm not directly liable for that, it's still a really bad idea to breach someone else's contract. So, as well as the fact that, people in the real world don't discuss their earnings for a pretty good reason, I'd imagine. I'm not going to be discussing exact numbers, but I can express vague percentages and, just vague numbers. So, what I can say is I have 4 days worth of YouTube Red. This is for those of you who are interested, by the way. Like, if you don't care about this, you can kind of just drown out for a second. But if you're interested, if YouTube Red is going to be a good thing for creators, then let's start by saying that YouTube Red, as we have 4 days right here, and it's been going up every single day. And as a percentage of what I earn total that day, again, I cannot say what I earn every day because that's it's breaching someone else's contract. But as a percentage of what I earn total, it started at 0.5% on the 28th, and it's been going up. And as of the 31st, it was the best day ever. It earned about 2%. About 2% of what I made came from YouTube Red, and that's kind of interesting. However, this data doesn't mean too much until we know how many people are signed up for YouTube Red. If 1% of people have YouTube Red free trial, that's really good. That means double the earnings on that 1%, which that's nice. That's an extra 1% a month. And if that's 10% of people signed up, that means they're cutting away 8%. Again, I can't properly say the ad earnings are always in flux at the end of the month. So I guess when there's more data and we actually have numbers, or when YouTube Red goes into its full kind of phase, we'll know better. But for now, YouTube Red, it's numbers. I think those numbers putting it out there might be interesting to someone out there. Maybe someone could do something with it. But for now, we can't really say if 2% is good or bad or whatever that is until we know how many people are watching it. Because if 10% are watching for 2%, that's bad. If 1% is watching for 2%, that's double, like I said. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. For now, I guess it's not a disaster even during the free trial thing. Or maybe this is the best time because it's a free trial. We'll have to find out, and I'll update you when we know something about that, because I'm passionate about the YouTube news, and I presume if you watch YouTube videos enough to find my main channel, then find the second channel from that one, you probably care something about YouTube. And if you don't, we'll go into our first story, which is actually going to be about Black Ops 3 having mods. So if you follow PC gaming at all, this doesn't actually sound so shocking. So it's like, oh, this game has mods. Well, of course it does. It's on the PC. But the reality is, the Call of Duty series has been pretty anti-mods since maybe, I think World at War was the last game they released the mod tools for. And I don't know if they actually officially released those or if they just came out, without their permission. But yeah, basically Black Ops 3 is going to have, mod and mapping tools as of spring 2016. So I think the announcement for this is like really short. Usually they try to use all the words. This one, they're just like, here are 4 key points. You'll be able to create maps, game modes, and more. We will include unranked dedicated server files, so you can make modded content anywhere you choose. We will run and provide an unranked server browser, so you can easily find servers with modded content. Closed alpha target date March 2016. That kind of clarifies everything there. So kind of like how Call of Duty 4, if you've ever seen videos of that, and like Counter-Strike, Source and Go and everything, they have all these crazy modded modes where you're not even really playing the game, they want that to be a thing in Black Ops 3. And the cynical part of me says that the only reason they've managed to achieve it now is because they're trying to reverse the sales trend of the Call of Duty series, you know? If there is a game that is going to go up rather than down, because I think since, I think it was like Modern Warfare 3, they've been going slowly down and down sales. It might be Black Ops 2 where they peak, but either way, you know, Ghost and Advanced Warfare both dropped in sales, and, you know, they want to kind of reverse that. And I think Black Ops 3 could do that, because it has the legendary, you know, Black Ops moniker, which is kind of a bigger name than Call of Duty at this point, and it also, you know, it has all these cool things, and I think, you know, getting the PC community on their side is going to be a cool thing. A lot of PC gamers now are going to pick up the game because of this, and given that PC is an area, you know, that Call of Duty just hasn't been able to get to before, having a good version on the PC that's good, you know, that's actually worth playing could be a really cool thing. So what do I think will happen as far as your average player is concerned? Well, if you're on the consoles, I believe this will have no impact. I mean, it'd be cool if they did the same Fallout 4 thing, where they managed to make it work on the Xbox One version, because, you know, that's something that they're totally trying out there. And I think there is a possibility of, like, far in the future having that happen. But, you know, for this game, console players means nothing. On the PC, though, it kind of has a lot of features that are considered standard by a lot of FPSs. So, you know, you can go in there, you can make your own custom maps, and then you can play those custom maps online. If you get bored of the game, you can pick up, you know, the PC copy, because it'll be in spring, so it'll be long when everyone's actually bored of the game, and you can play on all these brand new maps with all these brand new, you know, game modes and stuff. So if you think about like Death Run and what are like the really popular game modes from is Death Run the one where you press all the traps and stuff? That will definitely be in Black Ops 3. It's gonna be one of the first things. Stuff like Pro Mod, where, you know, they changed the rule set to make it more competitive. Stuff where they changed the rule sets to make it a lot less competitive and more fun. They can do all these things with this, and I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, it's coming in March 2016, which I think it's very deviously announced and planned. They're announcing this, how many days is Black Ops 3 coming out in? It's coming out on the 6th, and it's the 3rd today. So yeah, it's coming out in 3 days. I think this is a very smartly timed announcement, because they need the PC crowd on their side. Like I said, this has to be the game that reverses the, you know, the fates of the Call of Duty series, because it's the first one that has 3 years behind it, because it kind of proves the point to Activision Blizzard. And I think this is getting the PC community on their side, and I think, you know, that's fine there if they actually do intend to do it, because it is coming out in March 2016. And I think the big thing, the thing that really intrigues me is, because they do say it's coming to just Black Ops 3 PC, custom zombie maps. Custom zombie maps haven't been properly around since, like, World at War, and there's such a cool idea. I love playing a new map in zombies. Being able to play a new one every single time is awesome, because the thing is, you know, when they release, they release, you know, a DLC map every, like, 2 months or something, but if you just want to play a fresh map every time, you can't just pay, you know, £12 and wait 2 months each time. Having the modded version of that sounds like it's going to be pretty awesome. So, honestly, this is making me consider getting Black Ops 3 on the PC, and if you have a PC that can run video games, it might be well. I guess most people who have a PC, like, play on PC anyway, but, you know, I'm a console gamer, even though I have a PC capable of running games, because, to me, it's just a more casual, it's a better experience for what I'm looking for from a video game, but, you know, with all the extra things coming to the PC version, it might be worth checking out. I mean, the only big problem is the multiplayer is going to be really tricky on a controller, because that's what I like to do there. But yeah, I think this is going to be the best, the PC version is going to be the best version of this game, unlike with Ghosts and potentially unlike with Advanced Warfare. I think that was pretty good. And yeah, that's going to be pretty interesting. So, Black Ops 3 going to hopefully reverse the fate of the series, but we'll have to see. So, the next story we have is also Activision related, or Activision Blizzard, I guess, because they went on a bit of a spending spree. Or I guess they bought one very expensive thing. So, they bought the King.com developer, which is who make basically CandyCrush. They really just bought CandyCrush because they make other games, but their big thing is CandyCrush. They bought King.com, and the idea behind it, the big press release, was like, we're already the market leaders when it comes to the PC and on the console, so let's go ahead and let's become the biggest company on mobile too. So yeah, it's a massive amount to pay. If you think 5.9 billion. I don't know if I mentioned that yet, but they bought them for 5.9 billion, and you might think, that seems vaguely right. I mean, all these other things. But compare this to other big purchases, it seems really weird. So if you think about Mojang, literally Mojang, owner of the biggest game on I think it's like the 5th biggest on mobile, but like one of the biggest games in the world right now, only 2.5 billion. Think about Star Wars buying, Marvel buying Star Wars? Wait, it's Disney buying Star Wars. I guess I'm right with Marvel, but, you know, they bought that for something like 4 billion. This is worth 5.9 billion to them, and I have no idea how, King.com managed to make that much money for themselves, but still, that's pretty crazy. So I assume a big part of it is because they earned over $1 billion in revenue in 2014, which is, it's a pretty big deal, because of, Candy Crush is just such a big selling game. It's very, very addictive. It's the biggest game, and a lot of people are fine with just paying, $1 or whatever every level. So they make a lot of money, and that's pretty cool, I guess. So Activision Blizzard bought the King.com developers Candy Crush for $5.9 billion, and I think the reason that they did this, and the reason I think is widely stated, is because they're trying to, have more massive series. Because if you think about, what used to be their big stuff, it was like Tony Hawk, and then Guitar Hero, and then Call of Duty. Then they bought Blizzard, or they merged with Blizzard, and then they had World of Warcraft, and they have all these series. But if you think about World of Warcraft, it's kind of it's still the biggest by a big margin, but it's going down. You think about Call of Duty, same boat. Guitar Hero, I don't believe the last game did so well. All these series is kind of dying, and they're, I guess, by buying things, you can just keep on hopping onto the next big thing. And I guess once you have so now they own Candy Crush because they did just buy them. That means that they can kind of use that to move on from there, I guess. So like if they want to make the Candy Crush into a regular series, they can do that. If they want to just use the King.com name, or the developers of Candy Crush Saga, they can turn it into something that will make them a steady stream of money. And I guess that's what corporations like. I hear corporations like money. So yeah, that's a thing that's kind of interesting to me. I think that's all there is to say here. It's a big deal. I thought it was worth saying about. But I guess saying Activision like the money is something that isn't too new to all of you. So the final story I wanted to discuss here is one that I feel a little bit passionate about, because again, it's where business and tech meet. Or I guess this is almost like politics and tech. But basically, it's San Francisco have a big thing going on about Airbnb. So they're going to hold a proposition, which is like their equivalent of a referendum on whether Airbnb should be allowed into the place. Because the idea behind to quickly explain Airbnb, if you are not familiar with it, because it is a service that is near and dear to my heart. It's kind of like in this Uber generation where it just started existing a while ago, and the idea is you can just rent your place to random people on the internet. They rent your place, they borrow your keys, you show them around, and it's basically a really good way to make money from a property. Instead of renting it for, I don't know, whatever, at $700 a month for tenants, you can rent it as like a holiday property, and lots of people will buy it if you price it right. So instead of making $1,000 a month from renting it to a long-term tenant, you can make $100 a night from renting it to people. And in San Francisco, where there is a property problem, they're kind of arguing, well, we probably shouldn't have all these mini hotels all over the place. And to me, this seems really silly. And I don't know, it's kind of the wider trend of like Uber and all these other big tech companies where, companies aren't regulating fast enough. They didn't assume this happened. And they're kind of trying to just say, oh, well, whatever exists right now is the best. And I really don't know what is the right thing to do. Because if you think about, the Uber situation, they have all these taxis that are kind of, if you don't know, to be a taxi in New York, you have to have a medallion. Those medallions cost, I think, millions now. And, being an Uber driver means you can do it for free. So they kicked them out. And that sounds kind of fair when you say it like that. But is the best system to just stay what we have forever because we can't fix it? I don't know if that is the case. And Airbnb sounds a lot like the same thing, where it's like, in the short term, we'll have more properties because people won't be able to have Airbnb stuff. Although that'll be next to like impossible to enforce. I guess they could just go on the site and be like rogue agents. But basically, they're doing this thing where it's like, oh, in the short term, there'll be more properties and that'll fix the property crisis. But, I mean, isn't that kind of just isn't that just a short-term fix that, making a law to fix a problem that doesn't really, so it doesn't solve anything long-term, and it also makes people's lives worse long-term. If people would only come to San Francisco because they can easily Airbnb, which, I don't think it's a significant amount of people, but it is something. I mean, if I can't Uber somewhere, I'm all bummed about it. If I can't Airbnb somewhere, maybe I go somewhere else. And I don't know, it just seems like the weirdest thing, because basically the idea is it's not even in a lot of places, Airbnb owners don't pay tax, but in in San Francisco in particular, they do pay the same hotel tax. So it's basically people turning their houses into hotels that people don't like. But I'm just failing to see why this sort of stuff exists. I think because if you think about it, the long-term run is there's going to be the same amount of people trying to look for hotels mostly, and there's still going to need to be the same amount of hotel places mostly. And yeah, to me, I really don't like this. It seems to be the people who are making the rules just don't understand the thing that they're making the rules about. And this is the biggest example of that. Like, why would you restrict Airbnb? It's just, it's a new form of hoteling. It's like, illegalizing these new electric cars because they don't work like our regular cars, or, something ridiculous like that. I mean, just because something's new, it doesn't mean it's bad. In fact, new, if it's new and popular, it probably means people like it. And that's something I wish they really appreciated here. So, that is the Airbnb story. I think it's vaguely political. You can attach some form of, like, moniker, whatever, left or right to this. And I like to stay apolitical, so I'm going to stay out of whatever's going on here and, like, the mess of that. I think this is just anti-politics. I think it isn't, like, but it's just, like, why is anyone suggesting this? Like, it's not gonna fix anything. And even if it did, you'd be stuck in the past. It's like, it's like if, all these horses are going out of business because of cars. Let's just ban cars. And it's like, no, this is the better future version. Why can't we work with it rather than pretending it's the problem? And that's that right there. So I will move on from this to a last story. This is 4 stories in one video. I kind of like the free format because it's like, I think it's called the tripartite rule, where if you have 3 of something, it sounds nicer. Like if I'm like, oh, I'm clean, hygienic, and a cat. Those 3 things sound better if I say I'm a clean, hygienic cat with, I don't know, something good here. I'm a cute, clean, hygienic cat. And you're like, that's just too many adjectives. I don't understand any of those. But yeah, I never actually did very well in English in Scott. I'll be honest. I kind of just got by like 2 marks into like the passing grades I needed to get further in life. So I got very, very lucky on that. And in English, I just didn't understand that they needed you to write specific things. Like, it's like, I will express myself, damn it. And yeah, I remember all the rules, but I don't properly use them. So yeah, the rule of 3 is the one that does stick me though. So we're going to have 4, which is, I guess, that's 2 2s. Or it's 3 1s and an extra 1. There's no way of dividing 4 by 3, I'm realizing now. I guess it's 3 1 1/3 stories, but they're very distinct things. Anyway, 4 stories, whatever. We'll break the tripartite rule for the very actually, I think that's actually the tripartite pact I'm thinking of, but the triple thing rule, the rule of 3, because I wanted to talk about the last story here, which is a very, very big story, because especially like again amongst PC gamers, because it's very amusing if you ask me, because Batman Arkham Knight released earlier this year, and it released in a very buggy state. Like, a lot of people weren't happy, it didn't perform right. So basically, for the first time in Steam, I think this was just off Steam refunds, in fact, but, they just offered free refunds to everyone. They're saying, okay, don't like the game, get a refund. And, then what they did is they took the game off Steam, so they wouldn't get more refunds, and they're like, we'll release it later when it's fixed. And a few months later, they have come back now, and they've said, we're releasing this on Steam again, anyone can have a refund, but it just doesn't work, and we can't fix the issues. They're just going to have to stay broken. And, they fixed some of the issues, but not all of them. And to me, that's kind of amusing, the fact that they literally just, they worked out in their head, obviously, that the amount it would cost to fix the game is just not worth the amount in sales they would make. And, the amount of sales you must make on a Batman must be pretty crazy. So, yeah, that's a big old deal. They had an architectural problem in the game that's so big that they literally couldn't fix it. And that's so bizarre to me. Like, I don't know, like, making a game because that's what they said, really. They said there's a big, architectural flaw. It's just so big that, they couldn't find a way to fix it. And, I don't know how it ever gets to the stage where you're at that, you're making a game and you manage to make the whole game with the massive error somewhere in the base code. As like, someone must be getting some amount of fired happening to them right now, because there's clearly one like software architect or something that's like, oh yeah, we'll make this whole thing happen, and then they realize, oh well, we based our whole game on faulty code that also can't be changed, so we're not responsible for that, because the amount of money, because if they've offered these refunds for quite some time as of Steam's policy. They had to do it for a while. They released the game back on Steam, but still with bugs, so they still have to offer refunds. You can play the game for as long as you want and still get a refund, which to me means they're probably losing a lot of money. I mean, when it's the first refund system, a lot of people are going to do it when they're like, oh, I played the game, I'm not really enjoying it so much, I'll just get my refund. And yeah, the amount of money that must have cost them, even if it's just 100,000 copies at £40 or $60 a piece, I'm sure you can work out how that's something like 6 million. And given that these AAA games usually sell in the millions, again on Steam, it's probably just in the 100,000s. That's a lot of money that someone cost Warner Brothers right there, and I can't imagine they're too happy. So yeah, that's the last real story here. So we have YouTube Red little update and how they're being sneaky with their wording. We have the Black Ops 3 gonna have mods. We have Activision Blizzard buying King.com. We have the Airbnb in San Francisco thing, and of course the Warner Brothers thing. So the reason I summarized that is so you'll be like, yeah, I remember that, and then I kind of I spent 4 seconds to unlock 4 minutes of memory, and I think that makes sense in some sense. I think that's why you offer summaries, so that people, can refresh themselves on stuff. Every now and then I'll watch a summary where a guy does it like 3 times. They'll be like, no, because I've been watching travel videos and stuff. Before we end the video, I want to just kind of talk about stuff I'm excited for, because if we're breaking the format a bit anyway, let's break it a lot. So I'm really excited for Black Ops 3 Zombies, and which is coming out at the end of this week, and Fallout 4. And I don't know if this is like a thing that everyone does or it's just me, but it's like, I think I'm just gonna stay inside for the weekend and just play video games, because honestly, this whole channel thing stems from just loving to play video games all day every day, and it's something I haven't really done for a while. So I'm gonna prepare some videos, like some Minecraft videos. I'm probably gonna make a few Black Ops 3 videos and stuff, but I just want to enjoy just all day, every day, just do that, do this, do that, and yeah, that's gonna be fun. So, as to what platform I'm gonna be buying it on, I'll probably be buying Black Ops 3 on the PlayStation 4, only because, one, my Xbox One hard drive space is, like, super low. They release 500 gig models of these things, and it's like, that's a max of, like, 10 games, so I don't know whose logic that was. And they take so long to install that if I remove anything, it's like, ugh. So yeah, I'll probably get it on the PS4, because I have one game. Wait, do I have any games? Yeah, I have Minecraft and I have Journey for the PlayStation 4. Oh man, that's the most expensive, like... I basically spent £300 to play the, what's that mashup pack called? The Little Big Planet mashup pack, and that was probably not a very good idea. But yeah, well, I guess I'll buy Black Ops 3 in that, just because if I want to do Zombies DLC, I can't wait a month for it to come out. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that. I don't know though, like, the controller, I'm going to pick it up in my hands now. I wish it was a video so I could talk about, like, the sticks, they still don't feel natural to me for a first-person shooter. I know they're concave, well, wait, no, they're the bad one now. They used to be, the good one, which I think is concave, and now they're the bad one. So I don't know, how to deal with that. I guess I'd love to know how. I do prefer these types of sticks, but they're done in a way that they just don't feel right, and they're so small. I think I might need to get like an adjustable stick or something, or maybe what I really want is I want I know these make these for last gen, a controller where it would work on both systems. So you could have a 360 controller that would just map to the PS3 and vice versa. Because I don't want to get used to 4 controllers. The point of a controller to me is that the Xbox One controller in my hands, it just feels right. I think the 360 controller, to some extent, I'm going to pick it up now, it doesn't feel, it feels just as right. It's got just the right weight to it. And that's 2 whole controllers. I don't want to get used to a third one. Like, I couldn't go back to the N64 controller now. I'm rambling a little bit here. So, I'll finish up by saying Fallout 4 is also going to be exciting. I don't know if videos are coming for that. And I think I've mentioned this in the main channel video. So, I should probably stop talking about that. Yeah, I'm excited for Black Ops 3 Zombies. You can probably tell in the amount of Black Ops 2 Zombies. And I think every background gameplay besides one has been zombies so far. I like me zombies. It's great for when you are focused. It's great for when you're not focused. It's great for when you just want to play. It's just great, really. And yeah, I think this is going to be the last good zombies ever. So I'm gonna enjoy that. So thank you all for watching the Toy Cat Show, or listening probably. If you're listening somewhere that's not YouTube, that means I went and did a thing. But you're probably watching it on YouTube, in which case I very much appreciate a like on the video. If you did really like it, you can share it and get the word out there, or something like that. I don't know about that. I think I'm going to bring on a guest or something for the next podcast thing, because I really do like the bouncing off format. I listened to Get Blocked again the other day, and I like that, so we'll make that happen. But otherwise, let me know your comments in the thing down below, and I can follow on from it next week. And next episode, we'll see if we have a guest. So I'll see you all in that one. Goodbye.
You touching me? No, you ain't touching me. That'll make it easier on my bone hip. of well-endowed canines.